Hello, my name is William. I work at the restaurant at Beningbrough Hall, and today I'm going to be making one of our seasonal recipes that we have using the ingredients from the walled garden. So today I'll be making a salted caramel and squash scone. I'll be using some flour and baking powder, some margarine, some sugar. We've got a caramel, some coarse sea salt, some oat milk, so that makes it a vegan recipe, so suitable for all dietary requirements. We've got some butternut squash that we've grown on site in the garden, and we're going to be coating it with some more caramel at the end. We can also use any seasonal squash. As I said, we're using butternut that we've grown on site, but we can also be using something like a Crown Prince squash, which is really good for any culinary use. It's a really simple recipe. As I said, it's only a few ingredients, and we're going to be mixing it up in our mixer, but you can easily just use your bowl and spoon and make it yourself at home. So it's all really simple ingredients you can buy in any supermarket or grow yourself, and it's just mix it all together, and it should take 25 minutes in the oven and then a quick decoration at the end, and it's really easy and simple to make. I'm going to be adding the plain self-raising flour and the margarine into the mixing bowl and mix it until it's resembling fine breadcrumbs. So we've got self-raising flour and baking powder, some caster sugar, margarine, so coarse sea salt, carnation caramel, we have some oat milk, we have some grated butternut squash, and then we have some warmed carnation caramel for glazing at the end. Margarine, yes. That's fine. That's the self-raising flour, the baking powder and the margarine in the pan, and we're going to add the paddle beater. And we're just going to mix it for a few minutes until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. The mixture now resembles breadcrumbs, so we're going to be adding the caster sugar and the grated butternut squash. We're going to remix it, so we're going to put the mixer back on for a gentle speed for a few minutes, just to combine those ingredients together. We're adding the coarse sea salt, not all of it because we want to leave some for the decoration at the end, but just a little bit just to go into the mixture. So now we're going to start adding wet ingredients. So if you've got a mixer at home, you can change your paddle beater to the dough hook, and that just makes it easier when you're taking the mixture out to start rolling it. But if you're making it in a bowl with a spoon at home, that's absolutely fine, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to be adding in the carnation caramel and 3/4 of the oat milk. You can add more if you need to, but the squash is quite wet, so you might not need all of the liquid. Until you have a shaggy dough, so it'll start to come together and be a little bit flaky. If it's too dry, add more oat milk. But that's looking pretty good. That's coming together now, done and ready to roll out. Any mixture you've got on the dough hook, just put that back into your bowl, and we're ready to roll it out. So we're just going to lightly flour our work surface with some more self-raising flour, and bring the dough out, and just do a final mixing by hand just to ensure it's all combined together. Not too much kneading because you'll start to take the air out of the scone and you won't get a good rise on it, so actually the less handling the better you'll have. So we're just going to kind of make it into a circle-ish shape, get a rolling pin, a little bit of flour to dust that, and you want to roll it out until it's about 4 centimeters thick. There we go, that's about 4 centimeters thick. And we'll just start to cut them out, and then any remainder we can bring back together to cut out more once we've done that. So this recipe should be making about 12 scones, but you can halve it or double it depending on the number you want to make. I'm just going to sprinkle out a little bit of flour onto the work surface that I can use to sort of dust my cutter with, and that's going to help prevent the mixture from sticking to the cutter. I've got a prepared lined tray, and I'm just going to cut the scone and put it onto the tray like that. Yes, they're very popular, so we do a different seasonal scone every month. So this is just using the autumnal flavours available from the walled garden, but we have different scones available every month, as well as the ever popular fruit and cheese available and baked fresh every morning. So I've just got the remains of this dough. I'm just going to bring it back together and just roll it out again. Last of the batch out. This is the last one, so you can use the cut if you want to, but I've just kind of shaped it into rough and ready. That's the 12th scone. So there we are. Just need to be brushed with a little bit of oat milk to give them a nice glaze when they're in the oven. Just with a little pastry brush, just coat the tops with a bit of oat milk. It just means you get a nice brown colour in the oven, a little bit darker, just makes it much more appealing when you come to finally enjoy them at the end. And we're going to bake them for about 25 minutes. Before we start this recipe, you should always preheat your oven so it's at the temperature required when you come to bake your recipe. Okay, so these are out of the oven, so they should be nice and light and fluffy, and when you pick it up, it should sound hollow underneath, and that's so that they're cooked. So this is the carnation caramel. We've warmed it up in the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds, and we poured it into a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag at home, you can just use a teaspoon to drizzle it, and all we're going to do is give a nice little drizzle over the top of the scones. Do it whilst the scones are still warm at the oven, just allows the caramel to ooze down the side, be a bit more drizzly. The last of the coarse sea salt we didn't add to the mixture, and we just sprinkle a little bit on top of each scone just to add a depth of flavour and cut through some of the sweetness of the squash. So they've been out of the oven now for about 5 minutes, they've cooled off a little bit, we've decorated them, so now we're just going to put them onto our tray for serving. Okay, so there we are, the caramel and butternut squash scones.